radio station were going to be able to stay afloat. So once I started getting those reports, I was like, it's time to have plan B, backup plan for that. Although good thing KQAL is still going nice and strong. So since about 2010, I've been doing social media, either at KQAL or for myself. And then I just went full board, full time, helping other people around 2016, and then making it the steady main gig in 2018, pretty much. So I've worked for food brands primarily. I've worked for health related people like doulas, lactation consultants. I've worked with some coaches to provide consulting, but a lot of it is mostly food. I also work with what are called influencers, which are helping brands make connections with people that can get the word out about their product. And I actually build what are called ambassador teams, which you might have heard the term brand champion before. It's a person who speaks about your product, loves your product, so passionate that they'll do anything pretty much for your brand in exchange for product. So it's kind of the umbrella of what I do. I also still do product photography, videography, and then I myself am an influencer and get paid by companies to create content that they can then use in ads or promote on their social media feeds. So I kind of know the business from two ends, from the influencer getting hired to the person who's running the show for the business. So there's a lot of careers that kind of blend into that. When you're talking social media, there's lots of different branch offs, such as email marketing, right? Website development, and then ads. Sometimes your social media person is not also going to be your ads person. So there's a ton of different things within that. SEO management, huge umbrella when we talk about digital marketing. But tonight I'm going to try to keep it to social. But if you have questions about how do I branch this to that, I do have some guides that we're going to touch on to kind of go over that a little bit. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen, one of them. I got to figure out which one here. Give me a second. It's not showing all of the ones I have. That's interesting. Files. This is not letting me show one of my screens. Give me just a second here. There we go. Here we are. All right, can everybody see this? Right here? Great, okay. So social media. Where does one start? That's typically how most people feel when they're trying to do it for the first time, is how do I even get started with this beast? Well, first, what you need to know is there are many different platforms to do this. And it's up to you to decide which platform you're going to be on. I like to tell people, stick to two. You can't be everywhere unless you're hiring a team or an agency to be on all the channels. You will drive yourself completely bonkers doing it. For example, NASA has 50 people that work on its Twitter account, and just the Twitter account. So it takes a lot of bandwidth, and it takes a lot of meditation to be able to handle multiple social media platforms at the same time. So Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are pretty much going to be your three heavy hitters. TikTok is getting in there, but it really depends on what your industry is and your age group. So when we talk about who's on what platform, primarily you're going to see the 40 to 65 crowd on Facebook. So if that's the target audience you're going for, I'm going to tell you, you're going to probably want to make that one of your platforms right there. Twitter is going to be male dominated. Women are trying to break into that and have more voices in that. But it is male dominated, 35 to 55 years of age. Snapchat is more for the college and high school community. There are some Gen Xers in there. TikTok used to be just for the college kids, but due to COVID, a lot of people in Generation X moved over. A lot of people that were sick of the political messaging that was happening on Facebook during the election season, they moved over to TikTok and they found some creative use. So COVID had a lot of people at home. They wanted to create stuff because they were bored. And a lot of people poured it over to Instagram and TikTok and wanted to explore the creative and fun features of it. LinkedIn is essential if you're trying to sell goods and get to distributors or make business connections, right? You don't have to go crazy go nuts on LinkedIn, although if you are somebody who's trying to get a product out, I would have a presence on there and establish your business on there, an actual page for it and your own profile. And then Pinterest is kind of an ideas board. To be completely honest, I don't know a lot of people that are marketing from it. You can create links to your website from Pinterest if you have a shop and you're selling, but it's not as active as it was like in, say, 2015 or 2016. So with those things in mind, you have to figure out kind of where is my audience, age group and demographic, where are they hanging out, pick the 2 platforms, maybe create a LinkedIn page, but be actively posting, whether it's Facebook and Instagram, or if it's TikTok and Instagram. I will tell you that most brands are seeing a better ROI, which stands for return on investment, on Instagram versus Facebook, even though they're both owned by the same person technically, right? So like if you're gonna run ads, which we'll get into a little bit later, you're gonna do that for Facebook and Instagram through the Facebook business page administration. I know it's a lot. So just try to step us through that a little bit. How often should I post? This is a question I get from people. When you're first starting out, you want to post as often as you can, but keep it where it's sustainable, a good pace. iPad entered the waiting room. I'm just going to hit admit, whoever that is. So content needs to happen regularly. People engage with pages that offer content that is engaging and frequent. Even if you can't make a formal post more than 4 to 5 times a week, keep posting daily to stories, and we'll go over what stories is if you can. Stories are these little pictures or videos that are 15 seconds in length that disappear after 24 hours, but it still lets your users know, hey, I'm active, I'm on here, I just haven't, maybe I haven't done a formal post. It's a quick way to still remain active. You want to create what's called a content calendar. So you want to set time aside for once a month, once a week, to figure out what it is you're going to post and when. Plan your content, just like you're planning your meals for the week, your grocery shopping, anything. You need to actually take time to schedule this out and think it through. So you want to map out 2 weeks to a month in advance if you can. Some people do it week to week. I will tell you, if you're doing it week to week, eventually, somebody else came in, that you're probably going to fall behind unless you're a serial multitasker type person. Make sure your content is engaging and brings value. Don't post just to post. It's going to be boring material and nobody's interested in it. How many times have you seen a post where somebody just posts a picture of themselves doing this? Boring. The only comments you're going to get is, you look nice, I like your glasses, nice hair. It's not really offering you value, right? It's one thing if it's your friend, but like business pages or influencers that do that makes me want to kind of light my hair on fire because it's not generating any good conversation. All right. So what kind of content? Meaning what kind of value? So we have what are called the 4 E's of content. All right. Educational. You're teaching your audience something valuable. We have a couple of artists in here. You might all be artists. I don't know. I'm sorry if you all are, but Julie, we'll use you as an example here. Educational. So what educational content for you might be talking about different genres or different types of paintings, whether it's impressionistic, abstract, modern. I'm probably murdering some of these categories. But what you would do is you could say, here's some information about this painting. This is why this piece of mine is from this type of era or genre, right? And go into it about who started that? When was the first one created? What kind of education are you bringing to the table that somebody was like, oh, I learned something, right? So that's what we're talking about when we think of educational component. We all have education from Life of Hard Knocks we've had that has to deal with what we're posting about. So share that. Entertaining. Mostly you're going to find this in videos, right? Right now, video is kind of taking over still photos. So if you are into physical arts, maybe that's showing a dance, or maybe that's showing some type of movement. If you're into creating art, maybe it's starting with a close-up of brush strokes. The next shot is panning out until you see the whole thing, but it's got to hit you right from the start to get people to watch, because that brings entertainment value. Quick transitions, music that's trending, right? Or effects or text on the screen. So it does take a while to learn how to do some of these things. There is tons of YouTube material out there on how to create Reels, and Reels is taking over Instagram, and Reels is pretty much the same thing as TikTok. TikTok came out with those videos with the effects, quick transitions and everything. Reels is Instagram's answer to TikTok. And those two are in a fight right now for audience. So whatever one does, the other one's going to start doing. So that's why you get a lot of people that are saying, okay, my two platforms are Instagram and TikTok, and I'm cross-posting between the two of them. So entertaining. Do you have to dance? No, and I spelled TikTok wrong, but we'll get over that. Evergreen. That is something that will always provide value. Maybe that's a lesson you learned in life, not necessarily educational content, but something, a valuable lesson or something to reflect on, right? Evergreen means it's always going to be using. I am getting my internet connections unstable, just to let you know, Johanna, in case I fall out. Emotional, tugs at the heartstrings, right? The oh moment, that epiphany moment. Showing that you're relatable, showing that you're a human being. Emotional, right? So we want to have that emotional component to our posts. So if you balance your posts between educational, entertaining, evergreen, and emotional, you're going to have some really good stuff to play with. And that helps you plan out your calendar really, really well. Okay. Inside of that, what type of media for posts am I creating? So this means what are people looking at and ingesting? So there's a lot of crossover between the different social platforms. So on TikTok, you're going to have 15-second, 60-second, or 3-minute videos. You also have live capability, going live and speaking to your audience once you get past a certain amount of followers. They don't give you that capability until you get past a certain amount on TikTok. Okay, so Reels, which is Instagram's answer to TikTok, are 15, 30, or 60 seconds videos. 60 seconds is only available to those above a certain size following. So usually if you're under 6K or 8K, you won't get 60 seconds. But to be completely honest, the videos that perform the best are 15 seconds or under, because that's how ADD people are these days. It's got to hit you right away to get that interest. All right. Photo or multiple photos or even multiple videos that are under 60 seconds can be done in a carousel. So sometimes when you go to a post on Facebook, you'll see a collage. That's totally fine. On Instagram, that would be a thing where you swipe through the different images that are there. That's called a carousel. All right. And sometimes people do that with videos too. So here's the idea. One photo, somebody's going to look at really briefly, right? Several photos or videos, somebody's going to take the time to swipe through and look at it. Facebook and Instagram love that because it keeps you on the platform longer, so they can shove ads in your face and sell stuff and show a return to the people that have invested in ads. So you will be rewarded, most likely, as long as your content is good, if you are creating posts that have a reason to make people stick around and look at it longer, right? I mean, it makes sense. They want you on the platform. And they're also figuring out what you like so they can figure out how to target ads at you. Okay, so there's long format video, and that's for over 60 seconds on Instagram. If you're not doing, well, anything over 60 seconds is going to become an IGTV video, is what it's called. And that was Instagram's like answer to YouTube that kind of failed miserably. But it is their long format form of video. So you can, usually it's up to 10 minutes for most accounts that you can do a video for. And a Facebook video will let you go 240 minutes. Stories, which we talked about before, sometimes you'll see those little circles at the top of Facebook or on Instagram or on LinkedIn or on Twitter now. And those are quick photos, sometimes with text, sometimes video that people post, and they will disappear after 24 hours. Again, if you don't have time to be posting consistently on a regular basis, stories is a great way to still tell people, I'm alive, I'm posting, I'm active, I have something going on. You should still come to my page. And it will actually push to the top of people who are active for you to look at their content. That's how that works. Instagram Live and Facebook Live. Facebook loves live video. It will tell people you're going live. So will Instagram, people that are following you. And you will notice that out of your performing posts, after you leave it there, you do have an option to save the lives when you're done. You will notice that that typically will get the most engagement out of all your posts, meaning likes and comments. There's also the Facebook Business Page Manager, which will show you which posts are performing better versus others. You can check the engagement rate and reactions and comments. It's a great way for you to figure out what's working on my page and what is not working on my page. What content do people like versus what don't people really engage with? Okay. Call to action. We're just going to check the chat real quick. I'll send a record up. Thanks, Johanna. Call to action is asking people to do something, right? So examples would be head to our site or click the link in our bio for more information. So you're trying to say, hey, if you like this, head here. You're directing them to go see more of your stuff. Share this post. Share this post with a friend who needs to hear this, right? If it's an inspirational comment, or share this post with your favorite foodie friend or fitness enthusiast or painter, right? Tag a friend. Do not do that on Facebook. Facebook hates that. They're weird about the word tag. They think you're trying to create following beyond what are called the terms and conditions of Facebook. So that's why you don't see as many giveaways on Facebook anymore. So like when I was running a giveaway, I'd have to not use the word tag. I just have to say, let people know you saw this to be able to still get away with it. So wording is very important between the two platforms. Can you relate? Share your comments below. Or if you're creating a video and you have the text on the screen for a reel, you'll say, head to the caption to read more, to get people to learn more about what it is you're talking about. Because again, those reels are quick, right? So we want them to read the full story. So we have to give them a call to action to head to the actual comment to read the full story. Now, when I say head to our site or click the link in our bio for more information, some of you might be like, how do I do that on Instagram? And for example, right here is one of my clients. This is Melody. She has graciously let me use her page as an example tonight. She runs Flavor in a Jar. She's out of Dexter, Minnesota. She makes artisan jams and jellies. They're very tasty. But right here, she has a link in her bio. Now, her link in bio is a little different. I'll show you how mine is. For her business, what it does is it goes to the page, a separate page that will look like the Instagram page where you can click on a product that's been tagged and it'll take you to that website for that product. You also notice that there's quick links here like all products, the Brew and Spirits Jam Collection, Rochester Post Bulletin feature article she was featured in. So this is a way to, when you say click the link in bio for more information or to find this product, If I click on this, it's going to go to her website to find the apple, fig, and lavender butter. Or maybe this recipe here. What I've done is I've created in the platform that I use to manage her Instagram page, quick links to jump over to her website. Another format of this that you may see is on personal pages, such as this is mine right here. I have another truncated link here that I use through a service. A lot of these services are free or like under $10 a month. But what it does, instead of going to my main website, is it offers hot links to different things, right? So right here, like a podcast that I've been on, different supplements that I have a contract with another company for, all my links to different social channels that I'm active on. So this is a quick way where you say, click the link in my bio and click all social things, or click the link in my bio to find the podcast that I'm on. That's your call to action to get people to where they need to go. Some of you, it'll just be a website. But if you want to have several different links, then you need to have a service that's going to let you build a page for all the different links you want. If you have questions about the different types of services there are, my email address is going to be at the end of this, and I can send you, if people are interested in different options that are out there, I can send like a group email or something like that. But this is a great option. This is also how brands track how my performance is. I can tell them how many links were clicked, how many people like went to their site from here. It's great for tracking. All right, so let's go back to where I was. Here we go. So call to action can be to that link in bio or the website. Okay. I'm sure all of us have heard about hashtags, right? And it's very confusing because they keep changing the information. Just 2 weeks ago, they changed the information again. But let me tell you about the overarching theme on this. What are hashtags and how do I use them? Hashtags help you reach your audience. You want to use relevant hashtags that do not have a super high number that describe what your post is about. So if I go to a recent post of mine here, the Minnesota Renaissance Festival, right? I load it. At the bottom, there's these different hashtags. All of these have to do with what is going on inside of this photo. But none of them are a hashtag that are in millions of posts. And let me show you what I mean by this. So right now, if I go ahead and I do a hashtag search for bread, you see that there's 17,706,268 posts that have used the hashtag bread. If I were to use that hashtag, it would get buried underneath other top performing posts. It would not be seen. You'd be competing against 17 million other posts that are using that hashtag. So this is what I mean by niching down and becoming really, really relevant. So notice that bread making has less, breadwinner, bread bosses. This is where you can go ahead and start looking at what is a little bit more niche, because the smaller the account you are, the more dialed down you're going to have to make it in order to compete with all the other pages that are out there. You can start branching out your hashtag reach as you get bigger. Like let's say you get 75K followers, you can kind of up that ante of where that reach is with that hashtag a little bit more, because Instagram's going to think you're a little bit more relevant, if that makes sense. So you want to use super niche down hashtags to make it work. Another thing I want to point out is my page here is super not niche down enough. I just post whatever I want to, because during the day when I'm posting for clients, I am forced to post about their stuff versus my own. So your page will perform better if you stick to 1 or 2 topics and don't go away from that. Okay, so just mine is a hot mess express because that's the way I want it to be. And it's interesting that way to me. I'm posting for me. But when you're posting for a business and to get reach, you really want it to kind of be down to 1 to 2 things, and that's it. All right. Also, when it comes to your profile, all these things are searchable, right? So when I go to search, make sure that your name and what you do is relevant here, okay? And then you can put in these subheadings. They're working on making these things types as searchable, but really what's going to be searchable is like your headline, who you are, text, and then the hashtags that you use. That's how you're going to become discoverable, if that makes sense. Okay. So again, stay niche, more distinct with your hashtag selection. Test, test, test. So there's an ongoing debate about how many hashtags you need to use. Is it 10 to 12? The creators account for Instagram recently said that, but they've also said a lot of things that have not been true over the last 3 years. So take it with a grain of salt. Or 30. Instagram will let you post up to 30 hashtags. I say test 10 to 12, super niche, and then try 30 and see if you get a different performance. How to engage with others to attract an audience. So let's say I am posting about the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. About 15 minutes before I post, I'm going to start searching other hashtags in that niche and start liking and commenting on their posts, post my post, and then hope that they see, oh, she posted about that. They'll like, comment, and follow. Also, during your downtime, fun words, right? Downtime for us all. What you want to do is engage with your audience. Find the hashtags that are related to what you're posting about. See what people who you're trying to target, what hashtags they're using in their posts, and start engaging, meaning, okay, so let's say I'm doing a post about belly dance. I would look for the niche down belly dance hashtags, click on it, see if there's anybody who would be interested in my comment, right? Or my content, and start working by liking their posts and commenting on them, if that makes sense. So for example, if I go here and let's click on apple orchard season, what I'm going to do is a whole bunch of posts that are related to apple orchard season are going to pop up if my internet will let me do this right now. There we go. So there's top posts, and then there's going to be most recent. You want to engage with most recent because these top posts might be from 6 months ago, and those, who knows if those people are still active right now. So what I'm going to do is go here, find a post that doesn't have too many likes on it. They're more likely to comment back or follow you, right? So right here, what I could do is like this post and say, are those, I could write, are those Honeycrisp? They are my favorite, and they are. I like Zester too.
Sorry, I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
My Alexa, stop.
Sorry, I'm having trouble.
We're having problems with the internet right now, so Alexa is going absolutely nuts trying to reconnect.
Unplug both of them, then plug the router back in. Wait 30 seconds. Once the router is back.
I'm just going to unplug her because she's just going to keep going and talking otherwise. So that's what I've done. And I would go through and I would find similar posts, like and comment on them. Hopefully they'll come back and like and comment on my stuff, possibly even follow me. That's about creating engagement. You want to do that. I would say 15 minutes to start off, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, if you're doing Instagram. This same thing applies to TikTok as well. If you're doing that, it applies to Twitter. It applies to, you know, your friends on Facebook too. If you want, if you're active with them, they usually come back and look at your stuff too, right? Okay, so let's go back to here. So that's about engaging and attracting people to your content. Track your performance. This needs to be done if you're on Instagram or on TikTok, unless you're using a scheduling software of some sort, needs to be looked at in app. Whereas, like, for example, okay, every time I go to the top of the screen, the Zoom controls want to go off. Right here, here's flavor in a jar. I'm using post scheduling software for her account. And what I can do is go to evolution here, and I can see how her posts have been performing over whatever set time period I choose to look at. Right now, I'm looking at May 1st through May 31st, right? And you can select and change your time frame here. Whereas in app, you're kind of locked to week, 2 weeks, and a month if you're looking on Instagram. But what helps me figure out what's working for Melody's account is looking at what has performed well, how many reactions it got, did it get link clicks? This lets me know what kind of content is performing the best. And in Facebook Business Manager, you will see this for Facebook. And if you have Instagram connected through there, you will be able to see some of that too. Otherwise, I just use the Instagram app on your phone. And when you go into Instagram, you're going to click the hamburger looking icon, the 3 lines up here. I wish I could show you this via here, but if I was using Loom, I could. And then you're going to click Insights. And then Insights is going to give you information about how your posts and your account is doing on Instagram. If you're not using like a third-party software like I am here. Inside of Insights, you're going to see accounts reached, content interactions, and there's a little drop down for 7 days. Oh, they updated it where I can actually pick and choose dates now. I keep forgetting that. And then you can see about your different audience, how many followers you got, increase or decrease, your how your stories performed. And you can also check your audience insights. When I click your audience, I can see what the age range is. Male to female range is. Active times depending on the day of the week. So if you're not using a scheduling software that can intelligently pull that information for you, are to post. But remember, what still affects people liking your stuff is your content and your hashtag strategy. All right. Said it was going to be action-packed. It is action-packed tonight. All right. So tracking your performance and knowing what people like is huge. All right. Hashtag guidelines per social media channel. So Instagram, test 10 to 15 and then 30. There's also a theory that Reels may only need a couple of hashtags versus traditional posts. I'm still actively testing this between different accounts right now. A lot of people in social media are actively testing this. I think one of the biggest frustrating things about social media is that the information keeps changing. I feel like we don't get hard and fast rules all the time. So it's about staying on top of it and just kind of being in the know and researching things when they come out. Facebook. Brands stopped hashtagging a long time ago because most people aren't using hashtags to search on Facebook. What I would suggest doing is test some posts where you do use them and then test similar posts where you don't, and then see which ones get the most amount of likes, impressions, and reach. See if it's working for you. Stopped doing hashtags a long time ago myself for it. Once in a while, I throw one out there to see if there's any change in performance. I haven't noticed anything, but for what you're doing, maybe it will. Maybe your community is more into that. LinkedIn, limit it to 5. Anything over that's going to make you look like a rookie. It's honest. Like when you see somebody on LinkedIn using a whole bunch of hashtags, you know that it's kind of a sign that they're kind of new to the platform. So like keep it to 5. Twitter has officially come out and said, please don't use more than 2. So really niche that down. And Snapchat, not a thing, actually. It's only used to filter news stories. When it comes to Pinterest, and I should have added this on here, it's more about keywording. Okay, how to get people from social to your site. So we kind of talked about that with the whole link in bio. But outside of that, what are you going to do to get people to sign up for your email list? Because email is gold, right? We don't like the idea of sending out emails, but I'm going to be completely honest. It's going to keep people at the forefront, and you don't need to be invasive about doing it. You could do it once a month if you wanted to, but how do you get those email captures? That's what we talk about with lead magnets, okay? So lead magnet is content bait. Taking a real in. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to offer them a how-to guide, reports, cheat sheets, case studies, checklists, video guides or video courses, infographics, maybe it's recipes. Maybe it's the how to, like, Julie, I'm going to pick on you because you're at the top here. Maybe it's Julie talking about how to know the best paints for X, or how to know the best quality paints for X, or pastels, or what have you, like my guide to artist supply management. Click here, right? So they click there, they put in their email, you give them notice that they are signing up for your email and subscription list, right? But then as soon as you get that email, whatever email management service you're using, if it's MailChimp, shoots them out that guide, and now you have their email. That's what a lead magnet does. I have signed up for artist things to find out when they're at shows and craft fairs, or when an upcoming dance thing is happening, because I like to be entertained, just like anybody else. So if it's interesting to me, I will sign up, especially if they're offering something. But I'll be honest, it's hard to get email captures unless you're going to give something. So figure out what it is that you have to offer. If you're saying, I don't have anything to offer, do a little soul searching on that. We all have something to offer, 100%. You have knowledge, again, from whether it's education or the school of hard knocks, you have something to offer your audience. All right. Again, getting email captures is huge. That's almost like getting a sale. It can lead to multiple sales or bookings or whatever it is that it is important to you. Measure your performance. So if you have a website and you're selling things and you're going to run ads, you need to set up a Facebook pixel. There are many how-to guides on how to do this, so don't feel like, oh my gosh, or you can hire basically a social media manager or website manager to do this for you. So it is possible to have it done. But it's a piece of code that allows you to measure the effectiveness of your advertising by understanding actions that people take on your website. Oh, we have internet again, honey? You're the best. You heard that, it's recorded. He's the best. You can use that pixel to measure your ads and make sure they're showing the right people, find new customers or people who have visited a specific page on your website or are taking a desired action on your website. You use this to drive more sales, set up automatic bidding to reach certain people, like paid per click, right? You've probably heard that term before. And measure the results of your ads. Better understand the impact of you spending money on Facebook ads or Instagram ads by using a pixel. Okay, so we're going to talk about some other strategies here. Influencers. So if you are going to run an art event, you might want to have somebody who has a high status in your area to show up and blog about that event on social media. And you can offer them product in exchange for doing that if they're in town. Otherwise, you can offer them payment to do that. So you find people that have a good engagement rate and a solid following, and you make a contract about what is going to happen, and you ask them to basically represent you or come and talk about you. Now, an ambassador is a little different. They're that brand champion. There is that person who is dang near obsessed about what it is you're doing, but not where you're worried about your safety, if you know what I mean. There's a line. So if you're selling goods, for example, like if Melody, once she goes commercial, we can set up an ambassador program where people will get X amount of jars by fulfilling certain challenges. So certain challenges could be share a recipe, share a photo and talk about why you like this about X. There's all these different challenges, ambassador programs built in where people can earn credit to buy your product. There's also an affiliate program. So where people may earn a percentage of sales for selling your stuff. And sometimes ambassadors and affiliate programs are intertwined. So this is more like if you have a store. Influencers, though, can work for artists and shows. So keep that in mind. Okay, so now we're going to go over some hard truths about social. And we need to have realistic expectations when we do social. You're creating brand awareness on social media. Making a sale with just posting is like pulling teeth. It's like pulling teeth. Okay. One thing that has worked for a lot of people is reels because they're highly engaging. People share that or save that. But it's still hard unless you're going to put money behind it. It's really, really hard to get a sale from just posting organically. Okay, so ads are going to get you the best performance. I really hate saying that, but you can build an audience and awareness with social media, but to convert to a sale is incredibly hard unless you're doing, again, that lead magnet, and maybe you're making an ad from that post to go to that lead magnet. It's very difficult. So for the best return on investment for your time will be creating ads. And if some of you are worried about creating ads on social, you can also look at doing Google ads. That's another thing. A lot of people, ever since iOS 14 came out, and a lot of the audience data is now not available, it's kind of clamped down and made it harder to kind of reach that niche audience when that public information was available. So ads really are the best way, though, to get information out, get email signups, or get website conversions. The other hard truth is you need a bit of a following before you will see a return on your posting and on your ads. Usually after you hit that 1,000 mark, you got a better idea of who your audience is and who you can target. Okay, what's the difference between creating an ad or boosting a post? And this is coming directly from Facebook, okay? So I'm going to give you the rundown of it because we're at 7:43 already. A boost is basically going to create your brand awareness and magnify it. You'll probably get page follows. You'll probably get likes and comments on the post that you choose to boost. And yes, it does cost money. All right, so you get to pick an audience of the type of people you want. You get to set your max budget for an amount of time and how long the amount of time, meaning how long it will run. It is technically like an ad light. You know how diet soda is the light version of whatever soda it is you're drinking. It's the diet soda of that is what we're talking about. Now, an ad gives you a lot more options. You can choose different placements, right? Do you want it on mobile, desktop newsfeed? You get to choose side ads, Facebook Messenger ads, Instagram stories, not just the feed, Instagram stories, articles, and audience network, and you get to choose certain objectives like store traffic, email signups. It's a lot more, it gives you a lot more options of how you want to control that traffic and who you want coming to that ad or to your site. All right. So you also have a lot more creative control and options of what you can upload and have available displayed in that ad. I will say when you make ads, your copy needs to be succinct, short, and engaging. So there are online tools to check if your image is going to be performing well and if you have too much copy. I actually have a couple of artificial intelligence software I use to see if the ad copy is considered good and engaging, and it judges tone. There's a lot of tools out there. And again, advanced targeting capabilities with ads versus boosting. So do I do a boost or do I do an ad? If you want a better, more targeted return, I would say ad. If you're just trying to create brand awareness, boosting is really easy to do, but don't expect a sale from it. All right. Thanks for attending. I'm Terry. I have a website, I have a very unprofessional looking email because I just don't have time to add another $100 to make it terry@marketablesocialmedia.com. But there it is. You can find me there, and that's my cell phone number. And at this time, I'm going to stop the screen share and we can let things rip. Joanna, if you want to take it.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks so much, Terry. Wow. Really appreciate all your energy on this. Yeah, we can go ahead and take questions. If folks would rather, since we have a small group, I'd say go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question out loud if you want to, or feel free to pop it in the chat. Looks like I'm the only one using the chat. Hopefully I set the settings up right so that other people can chat, but yeah, feel free to ask questions out loud too, if you'd like.
I have a question about Instagram, Terry. Do you have to have a professional account in order to be able to go in and look at how many times you got?
No, you should be able to still see your demographics. I will say that if you're creating reels, right, and you want use of all the audio stuff and creative tools, you might want to set up an entrepreneurial account or a creative account versus a business page. The business page gives you some fun tools, but it doesn't let you use all the audio features of licensed audio.
Well, I just have a regular Instagram account, and then I have a Johnston Art one, but I didn't know you could get other things. So,
yes, I would, personally for you, I would make it a creator account.
Okay. I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, I would make you a creative or entrepreneur account.
Thank you.
You betcha. And that's underneath settings. Again, you click that hamburger icon and you can go down to your account settings and choose what kind of account you have or want. If you're a business, you can set up a shop too, but I think with creative, you can as well. If it doesn't, you're probably going to have to switch over to entrepreneur, Julie, if you want to start selling your artwork on there. Or you can do that whole link in bio to your website where people can buy, or maybe it goes to Etsy, right? If you're on Etsy.
Right.
Right.
I have it going to my website, but it's interesting, all the things you can do. I didn't know. Thank you.
Oh yeah, there's keep adding stuff. It's hard to keep up.
Terry, I wonder if you could say a little bit about just kind of like, if people are just going to start doing ads for the first time, like what amount of money is a reasonable thing to estimate, or does it vary too much to give a sense of that? Or
yeah, it depends on your following size, to be completely honest, depending on which platform you're at and how many days you want to run it. I have a friend who recently did an experiment. She did $30 a day on an ad and got like 12,000 likes. But keep in mind, this account already had a couple thousand followers on it. The only problem is, like when we were talking about it back and forth, is she was getting people that she wasn't necessarily trying to target from other countries. So, you have to be careful. Am I boosting or am I actually setting up an ad, right? And if you're going to set up an ad, it will cost you more than boosting for that reach. So, I mean, people spend $5,000 a day. Some people spend $5 a day. Some people, like one company I work for, spends $30,000 a month. So it really depends. I would say you want to make sure you have over 1,000 followers first, and then just try $5 a day and see what happens. Set it for maybe a week. Don't go to Starbucks for like a week or Caribou, put that money into a jar and set it aside for ads, but there have been people that have had success with $5 a day. Your audience makes a difference. I mean, I'll be honest, certain fields are going to be harder than others. Like with Melody, not everybody wants to spend $8 on a jar of jam. That's a hard pull. That's a really hard pull. Our most successful thing with her ads was getting email signups. And for us, that was gold. But it depends on what your price point is and what size of your audience is that you're engaging with. Art's hard. I'm not going to lie. You're going to have to bring a lot of entertainment value and a lot of education and valuable information to your feed and make sure that content is engaging is what you're going to have to do. Julie, I could see some amazing photos, videos of you painting. Your brushstrokes are amazing. Mary Lee, you've got a lot of movement, woman, in your life. And I know you can bring a lot to video. Okay. So, and if you're a photographer, you can make videos from your photos as reels. You can make that work. You can find ways to make it work. Start going on Instagram and look at through the reels section and see what other people are doing. Swipe through. Swipe through. You don't have to imitate, but you can adapt. Getting ideas means you're going to spend some time trap inside of social media yourself to get ideas. You're going to hate it and love it. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's a time suck, 100%, but you will be very inspired by a lot of things you see. Now with Reels, the biggest thing here is the Reels icon is the one in the bottom center, right here on Instagram. When I go through, it's going to show me different ones and I can swipe up. You'll be able to see the amount of likes and comments something has. And there's always sound usually attributed to this. Now, if you look really closely, do you see that white arrow that's pointing up? That means that sound is trending. It is hot. And that is a sound you want to consider using. And in order to save that sound, you would go to this icon right here, press it, and it will let you hit save audio. So you can save that audio and pick it from your saved when you go to create a reel. But that's how you find the trending audios. You start flipping through this thing, right? You see that upward white pointing arrow. It's trending. It might only trend for a couple of weeks though. So kind of want to, if you find something that's appropriate for what you are posting, use that sound. It will push it. Remember, Instagram is trying to hop on trends because TikTok found that secret sauce and now they're trying to imitate that. It is a war. It is a tug of war right now, and you can win in that tug of war. I get so amped up because it's my day all day. I mean, it's lucky. I'm lucky if I get to post more than once a week right now, just because of, you know, you kind of get burnt out on it after a while. But
one other question that I was thinking of is how, so on Instagram, what's the best way to identify the hashtags that would be good to use? Like not the ones that are too big and too broad, but.
Remember when I was searching, I would do a search based off of what it is you're doing and see all the different tags that come up. So let me share my screen again, if that's cool. Let's go to here, share, and let's go here. So I'm a sourdough baker, right? Amongst other crazy things. So if I put in sourdough, 5 million, I'm not going to show up in the top of those, but here are related hashtags to that are lower performing. I would stick to anywhere from 10 to 20K in that niche. I mean, I would say 1.5 to 20K and play in that niche. Now, people were saying to use a ladder approach before, and that would be like 15 of these lower performing tags, 10 of the medium, and then 5 of the high. But right now we're being pushed. And again, this comes down to listening to what's going on out there, to just pushing for the niched hashtags. So I would be going for something that is performing probably under 50K for my reach, or under 250K for my reach. You would try, if you're just starting out, I would say 1.5 to 25, maybe 50K on the high end, for using hashtags. And I would put them at the end of your post. So this is fine. I'm on a weight loss journey. Now you all know about it. So here, a bunch of I've got a lot of comments on this. It's got a lot of comments. These are all about what it's taking and what has to do with weight loss in here. These are all niched down. They're not super high performing. They're very niche down. And what I've done is I put them either in the first comment after I've written out everything here, or you can use a dot return, which is what I did here, right? dot return, dot return, dot return, dot return, dot return, then put the hashtags. It just creates some separation between it and it doesn't come across as spammy. It kind of pushes it down a little bit for you. So you also want to use line breaks. Don't put all your stuff into one paragraph. It makes it really hard to read. Presentation is huge. People like emojis. I write from the heart, but you know, teach their own. So you can use up to 30, but I say you can test 10 to 15 niche and see how it goes. And then test 30 on another one and see how it goes for you. Now, I also use software. I personally use a software to help me find my hashtags, which if you are going to go full hog and do this, let me see, I got to move this out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. Or if you're a social media manager and you're managing several pages and you want to see your analytics of what hashtags are performing well, you can use a software like Hashtastic, or you can use a software like FlickTech. And right here, I'm using FlickTech. And I am looking at Flavor in a Jars page right now, and I can see what top performing hashtags have worked for her. So I can choose to use those again until they're not top performing, and then choose to do a search for more. So right here, these are the ones that are performing really well for her right now. But if I wanted to do a search, I could go to search here. I gotta keep moving my dang thing. Hit smart filters, so it automatically filters out things that aren't gonna possibly perform well, all right? And let's say I type in, apple crisp, right? What it's gonna do now is it's gonna search for low competition, meaning super niche hashtags that I can click, and then it's going to copy them to the clipboard, medium competition ones and high competition ones. And then I can add another one to the search until I get the number of hashtags that I want. This makes my life about 10 times easier. I used to spend 30 to 45 minutes researching hashtags for each post I would do for a client until this software came out. So it's usually like 10 bucks a month. I pay per client. They usually give you more of a kickback the more accounts you're doing it for. So Hashtastic is another one you can use, and that's about 10 bucks a month too. And then you can track your performance. What's nice about Flick is they're going to start, they're in beta right now for adding scheduling to their software where you can schedule out your posts. So that's kind of nice. So this is a great tool. I love it. Again, saves me a myriad of time. All right, I'll stop that. They sell anything for anything, don't they? There's a tool for everything. I will say other tools that I probably use, Canva is huge. It's simple graphic design software. I paid 12 or 13 bucks a month for it. And I made the presentation you saw tonight in Canva in probably under an hour. So simple templates, you can upload your own pictures, put them into presentations. It'll have templates for, am I making an Instagram post? Am I making a Facebook post? Am I making a LinkedIn cover photo? And it has stock imagery you can use too, animations, shapes, frames. Canva is like helping you become a graphic designer without having to take a class for it. It's probably one of the best tools you can get out there. Grammarly, I would suggest as well too. It's like 56 bucks a year, but it makes sure that you are writing things correctly. I still use Grammarly every day, 100%. I don't trust myself. So.
Well, thanks so much, Terry. Yeah, I've just started using Canva a lot more, and it is pretty great. I second that recommendation for sure.
I love it. I love it.
It makes the correct dimensions for a photo for Instagram or Facebook or wherever you're going to put it. That is very handy.
Yeah, there's a lot of learning curves when it comes to social. But there's a lot of YouTube videos on how to do things too. So don't forget to research. Don't be afraid to use your research capabilities to find the answer that you're looking for versus I'm out, like there's good advice too, and there's bad advice. So try to find people that have a lot of likes, where people on YouTube videos are like, this was really helpful. You can tell by their following size if people are really watching them. You know, there's versus some guy who's got like maybe 3 likes on a video. You know, like that's pretty telling.
Right. Well, thanks so much, Terry. And thanks
Yeah.
everybody for joining us. We can go ahead and wrap up here unless anybody has any other questions. And I just wanted to end with share a little bit more about River Arts Alliance, who sponsored this event. I know some of you here are members, some of you aren't necessarily, or you mentioned that you weren't sure in your registration. We'd love to have you be members of River Arts Alliance if you're interested in that. So if you're not familiar with us, we're a nonprofit organization based here in Winona and the Winona region. Our mission is supporting and celebrating regional arts and culture by organizing educational programs, community events, and public art projects, while promoting opportunities for artists and facilitating collaborations between organizations in the Winona region. And I am new here, so I did still have to read that. I don't have it memorized yet. But anyway, we have membership options for artists as well as for art supporters. And I will pop a link to our website where you can check out more information about that. You can also find us on Instagram. One of my goals is working on beefing up our Instagram presence, and we're on Facebook too at River Arts Alliance. And then tomorrow I will send out a link to the recording of this, as well as Terry's contact information that she shared, and you could follow up if you had any other questions for her.
Give me just a second. I'm checking messages before we sign off because people were writing. And I didn't realize it because I was so overly enthusiastic for tonight. So hold on a second here. I'm just making sure. Joan, I got your message. So probably tomorrow. If anybody else has any questions, most of you, I think, have me on Facebook, to be completely honest. Is that you, Al, in the corner on iPad? Is that? Who's?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. How are you
I'm
doing?
John.
Buddy? Oh, you're John? Okay. All
Yeah.
right. It's been a while. Okay.
John Wells,
Okay. John, where are you coming from?
Red Wing.
Red Wing? Thanks for joining us. That was, couldn't remember if that was Al or who it was. There's so many people. I haven't been outside of the house much since COVID, so memory's kind of fading on what
None of
people
us
look
have.
like. Yeah. So if any, I got, hold on, 3 more messages. Thanks. Okay. Yep. Sweet. So thanks for having me again. You can
Thank
find
you.
me. There's multiple ways to find me. It's not hard. So, and then Johanna, I'm sure you can put people in touch with me if they ask. So again, thanks for hosting. Appreciate y'all for coming.